I want to bring you to this post today from Europe Invasion, and I quote, "In Sweden, the right-wing government's immigration minister Maria Malmer announced, Sweden is heading towards negative migration. We expect more exits than entries in 2024. This is a first in 50 years. Now, the reason I am bringing this post today is because of the comment section and the misinformation in it. So, for example, we have Andrew Tate here. The problem is that white people are the ones leaving. Now, I get the perspective. You cannot actually see which ones are the actual citizens, actual native populations, citizens. But it is still misinformation. I want to read this other comment as well. This is incorrect, since they have already given citizenship to many immigrants. Now what they're doing is making it hard for the foreign students and workers to have work or residence permits. This is correct, which explains the exit, which is, however, incorrect. On the other hand, you will keep having the same problems. Now this, however, is also correct. The crimes committed in Sweden are, for the most part, actually from Swedish citizens. But here's the important reasoning behind that. The immigrants that we're seeing in the 90s and early 2000s, they are the first generation immigrants, right? They are not the ones committing any of the crime. It is the children, the second generation immigrants, that are actually committing all of these crimes. They are born and bred in Sweden. They have been raised in Sweden as well. They have Swedish citizenship and are on the passport Swedish, right? But they are the ones committing all of this crime, which is making it really hard time to actually deport all of these people or actually do something about it on a larger scale, because they are Swedish citizens. They are people of this land. This is what is so baffling to me. The fact that we cannot do anything about this, because the situation is so bad and the integration is so bad and has been for almost 3 decades now, that we can't really do anything about it. There's no actual good solution to this. Best case scenario, okay? Best case is that these people, the second generation people, actually move back to where their parents immigrated from. Best case scenario. They would live like kings, sure, but that is best case still. So this is, I actually touched on this subject as well in a video a while back. Denmark is considering reintroducing border controls on its border with Sweden due to the gang violence or gang crime spiraling out of control in its neighboring country. So Denmark is basically just wanting to impose more border checks and border controls. This is understandable, but yet again, these are not the Swedish citizens, or rather not the Swedish native population doing this. This is the Swedish citizens from immigration backgrounds doing all this. They overrepresent every single statistic when it comes to crimes, these second generation immigrants, or just simply illegal immigrants too. So I wanted to read this, give you this post, right? This is from today's news, or Dagens Nyheter. This is a Swedish newspaper, so keep in mind this is just direct translated, so it's going to be a little bit, I don't know, the translations are not that good. It's a bit rocky, right? More immigrants than immigrate to Sweden. This is more immigrants than immigrants to Sweden. For the first time in 50 years, Sweden has net immigration. The number of asylum applications and granted residence permits continues to decrease. Net immigration is minus 15% and up, and including May this year, compared to last year. At the same time, immigration has increased by 60%. Preliminary figures from the Central Statistics Office, SCB, show this is a net loss of around 5,700 people. This is the important part, however. You cannot see exactly if these people are native or if they're just immigrants immigrants that have Swedish citizenship. It's very hard. But you can, however, see in the statistics which ones are from these countries and that are moving back. In 2023, immigration, you have to be very specific, immigration, this is out of the country, increased among people born in Iraq, Somalia, and Syria, among others. The net immigration figures for people born in these countries were negative last year. So yeah, basically just going to keep on talking about this and talking about why it's bad and all that. But it's very good, however. This is a good thing. I want to give it this picture, I guess. This is actually from a video, but this is the important part. Net immigration 2023 this is from their own birth country, the native land, basically. So Iraq, Somalia, and Syria. The dark blue spot is immigration, and the light blue part is emigration, people leaving the country. So Iraq is higher, Somalia is significantly higher, and Syria is, well, it's higher, sure, but it's not that much higher. So you can see that people from these countries, however, they just leave once they come here. This is you can't actually see which of these countries they actually move to once they're out of Sweden, but the people coming in from these countries are actually the ones leaving in droves as well. Or at least the people coming into this country from these countries, they are leaving more than they're coming, basically. And you can see it here. I don't know if and depth apparently is the direct translation of India and China. I don't know why that is, but it's kind of interesting. So this is what I mean when I can't really talk about this and it has a bit of a problem with it, because citizenship in Sweden basically grants you to be a Swedish citizen, which means that the statistics is a little bit skewed, but you can still see it here. Approximately 2/3 of those who immigrate were born in a country other than Sweden. So if they're not Swedish citizens and they are from, for example, Syria or Iraq or India or something, you can still see if they immigrate from the country. You cannot see which country they immigrate to. It could be another European country or just another country except for their own. But it's highly likely that people from Syria move back to Syria, right? So basically this is a good thing. So when Andrew Tate says that white people are leaving, you gotta keep in mind that you cannot actually see where these people are going. If, for example, a Swedish citizen goes to Syria, they are obviously or very, very likely to be of Syrian heritage, or at least they're second generation or first generation Syrians that have Swedish citizenship basically and a Swedish passport. They're just leaving back to Syria. But if you don't have a Swedish citizenship, and if you are from Syria, they can track which ones are going back or simply just leaving the country. So you gotta keep an open mind about this. You have to think a little more than what Andrew Tate is doing. Gotta think about it in a broader sense. That's what I mean. I think I'll just leave it there. Subscribe, like, share this, and next video is coming up later today. See ya.